Hello everyone. Can you guys see me and hear me? If at all someone has joined, this will be still 5 minutes. And just till then, fix this. Hi Sarmad, how are you? So there is a function going on like right behind my house. You might hear the sound box that they are playing, but yeah, apart from that, I think I should be audible at least given this mic. So yeah, so the camera is not good because I'm still figuring out why this camera isn't working that good. Like why does it shut down in between? I have a hypothesis that it might be the wire I have purchased for cheap here, the charging cable or the connection wire, but still yet to find out what's the real cost. So let's switch to screen share. Let me position myself right here and a bit smaller. Cool. So where were we? So yeah, Hazelnode, right? So I have noted some stuff down for today's that we need to discuss, and probably we should have done this step before we started meddling around with stuff. But yeah, today we will do this. We will review Zapier. So Zapier is a proprietary automation tool like N8N, but proprietary, and it is SaaS based, so not open source. So that we'll do today. Second thing is we will get React query working. Oh, the bro! Congratulations, Louis. Welcome back. And yeah, so let me just sign in. Sign in with Google. I think I have an account with Frappe. Please confirm your password. I don't even remember what I set it. Let's reset the password. Very long ago I used it. I don't even recall what it was. Too high background noise, but sorry for that. Let's use a strong password. Ha! Now you know my password. Why the idiot show the password then? I have to reset again. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's log in and reset first, and then we can see. So how do I reset my password now? Change password. Okay. Ha! This is just so let's first review their plans and see what. So free unlimited zaps, right? So what does it mean, right? So zaps are in the sense workflows, what we were talking about, right? You can build as many workflows as you want, but here is the catch. that you just have 100 tasks. So this is basically workflow executions. So if you have 100 executions, this is done, right? So I realize this is not, I don't know how this billing can be logical in the sense, but just think about it. If you have a scheduled job that runs every hour, and in 24 hours that will be 24 executions, so then you are visual editor, they have some AI stuff. But yeah, what I like about this is like their UX, right? Not the pricing, not the proprietary model, but two-step zaps, right? Free only includes two-step zaps, and then you have to go $20 per month. So this is, and 750 tasks, just 750 executions per month. And if you want 1.5k executions, it's like $40. I don't know, but they're very popular, and probably because of their marketing, positioning, and UX. So why I wanted to review Zapier was because when the last time I used this, right, I was create to do on, so I was building a Zapier integration for Frappe. So let's see, delete on spreadsheet add. So they also have a flow editor. Okay, last time I recall they didn't have a flow this flow editor. It was much simpler, but yeah, this is super cool, right? So this is just one way flows down, and I like this. And then you can add more zaps. Let's edit, right? You can add in between, add here, and so NA10 went this goes this, so I want to go this. This is much more user friendly in my opinion, not in terms of like, okay, why doesn't airport cancel this background music? Noise cancellation, conversation awareness off. Now it's better, but yeah, that's fine. So we were discussing, so as you can see, trigger nodes, right? So this is the trigger, and then if you open it up, right, it shows here. So I like the UI part of it, and on off is basically enable disable, which we had in NA10, and then you can select app and event. So here an app can have multiple different types of events, right? So if there is a Frappe app, it can have create document, delete document, so on and so forth, right? And similarly, as you can see, Frappe and delete document, create document. So I like this simplicity of it, right? Very straightforward. And then account is basically how has the user authenticated this particular node, right? So I think this was token based auth, but yeah, let's explore more. The UI is nice. I like this better than NA10. So as you can see, this is the area where you do this. This is the majority area, and then when you select one of it, it just is in this sidebar, right? So we'll sketch some UI for our app. There is notes. Learn more about notes. So to document key information at each step, you can add notes. Okay. Yeah, that's like good to have, nice to have features that we'll think about later. And then runs, right? So I think this is actually okay. Once it ran, it counts towards your quota. Ridiculous pricing in my opinion, right? So they are also trying out new stuff like chatbots, canvas, what is tables, probably CMS something stuff. Shakur asked what about IFTT and Frappe. Yeah, similar concept. Then you have IFTT and then you can have a Frappe integration. But I want a tool right in Frappeverse. So you install an app, you get no third party involvement in this case. And then you can control, right? Like we already have some no code, low code stuff. So you might have to watch why we are doing this. Watch just episode 26, I guess, where we discussed why we are doing this and how we want to do it. So you will get a better context then. So Zapier tables is a no-code database tool that allows. So they are going the other way around. Edit, share, and automate data in one place. Get started by importing your file or user template. To-do list. This is basically doc types, right? They are giving doc types, and that too in beta. But yeah, I'm very hopeful of this app. But yeah, now I know the UI. We can take some inspiration for Zapier, so I will keep it open somewhere. Create Zap. So they call it Zap. We are calling it workflow. So there is a trigger. So they have this AI stuff. So we can ignore this for now. Probably we can come back to it later when we are having some fun with ChatGPT or something. Powered by AI. Ha. So trigger and action. So I like the simplicity of it. So the user can directly select a trigger, right? And they have 5,000. So this is the power, right? They let third parties build their own apps. This is what they call the apps, and then apps bring their events. So you won't find Frappe there. I have this because I created it. And they have this tool for the UI for building a node, like, or an app. They don't call it a node, they call it app. And so webhook start the zap when another app sends a request. This is premium, right? So why premium? So you have to upgrade. But yeah, we have it on our. So let me close this. I was teaching the kids how to connect MySQL to Python. Yeah, we already have that. I think our essential nodes webhook. So we are also going to do that. Cool. So some inspiration. So let's jump to Figma. So that is the background. Yeah, show me the money, right? Like it's all about like this pricing. I don't like this kind of pricing. Even user-based pricing, like okay, per user, this, that. Okay, let's create a new page. Let's call it Hazelnode, of course. And here I'm going to drop some inspirations. So this is a good inspiration. So when we are sketching out some UI, we will have some stuff. Then so they show the runs here itself. And as far as I know, they don't have dark mode. But we will probably add a dark mode. Let's do something innovative as well. Not innovative, but at least. Yeah, it's draft and it's all. Duplicate, so on and so forth. They have this. What is this? Chat. Advanced settings, versions. Okay, like everything wants an upgrade. Details. You can select a time zone. Nice. So if you want this particular what do you call Zap or the workflow to have a particular follow a particular time zone, you can do that. So they have a 3-column layout, kind of 3 columns. So this is the one column, this is the area, and on top of it any additional information that you want to edit. How is the list view? List view is also pretty clean. Let's go to dashboard. So we will also keep it very simple. We need this part. Okay. Hey Aminu. Hopefully my background noise is not disturbing you too much. Otherwise we'll do a short episode today. Because then if someone watches it afterward, they will definitely do a comment and say lot of background noise. But yeah, that's done. So that was the first task I had, that somehow review Zapier, right? So next is let's discuss how we will get the authentication working and some user info. And maybe I was thinking, why not have a template? So first we work on this app, get stuff working, and then extract a template out for a front end with React and the stack we are using in this one. Yeah, cool. So now we have some inspiration from Zapier. Apps, right? They have an app store. Custom apps. Connection. Cool. Contact sales. Chatbots. That's fine. Okay, let's now jump to our terminal. CD Frappe bench 0. Clear. Bench start. Code Hazelnode. Hazelnode is already open, and hazelnode.localhost 8000/app. So this will basically give us the admin UI, and now we'll go here. Yarn dev, it's already running, so we'll go to Hazelnode 8080, and we have this nice dialogue and routing going on that we figured out in the last episode, right? Using time stack router. And today, hello Alberto, how are you? Okay, so finally you added your name, I guess, or like there are two Albertos and I'm getting confused. Ha! Anything can happen. But yeah, I like this dialogue so much that I'm playing around with it. But today's task, right? Authentication. So currently, if I try to make a request to the backend, right? I say fetch /API/method/ping, and then then whatever data comes back, console.log that data, and it returned. Okay, we have to do .json. Then you can consider this our so we get pong, right? So it's making the request to our backend, and if we come back, here's the ping, right? But what happens when we try to make a request that is say that requires authentication, right? This doesn't require authentication. This is like allow guest. I don't know. So they are playing it. So random songs, right? Like very popular Bollywood songs. So if I recall one, I will tell you. I'm trying to listen now. Okay, they have stopped now. They will change. Let's see, when they change, we'll get there. But yeah, where were we? So we want to fetch. So let's try to hit something that requires authentication. So API slash resource slash to do, and then we'll copy this part. So this is basically Frappe's REST API. And okay, it returned nothing because we don't have it to do, but it didn't fail, right? It didn't fail. What does that tell you about the state of authentication in our app? Right, if you go back now and try to make the same request again, you will get that data, you will get the to do, right? It didn't fail. Why? Why? Can you tell me? Because what happens is when you this site, right, this is hazelnode.localhost. The port is different, but the site is same, right? The domain name is same. And when you are logged into this, right, the authentication is basically some cookie, right? That cookie is stored here as well. So if you inspect, right, your application, you will find your cookie here. If you see, here is the cookies, right? Here are the cookies there that are set by Frappe, right? So you don't have to implement the auth system in your front end and then make it talk to your backend somehow, and that's not how it is. Since this front end is sitting inside your Frappe instance itself, this just works, and this is it, right? It stores the user ID, the full name, the SID, and everything. So what we do in Frappe UI as well as in like Vue.js side or in React now we will do is we will read that cookie and figure out whether they are logged in or not, right? If I go and log out here, right? If I just go and log out from here, I go back to this app and then I try to make the same request, it will fail, right? 403 forbidden. Now I am logged out. Same site, just different ports. So what I will say is I will go to application and then I will check the cookies. Now you will see the user ID is guest, right? So what we have to do in order for us in our front end React app to check whether someone is logged in or not, we just have to check the cookie. And I also remember I have a snippet somewhere, Frappe UI starter. Yeah, Doppio Frappe UI starter. There it will be data, user or session. Let's do session. Yeah, here is it. So this will tell you, this gets the cookie, document.cookie, right? And then if session there is a user ID, it is equal to guest, then session user is null, right? And otherwise it returns. So let's copy it somewhere. Yeah, I pasted it here for just checking login, right? And in our React app we can go now. Let's bring it here. Right here I want to show something. Let's go to app.tsx. I know we had a lot of mess up from the last episode, but what I will do is go to main.tsx and in the about route, right? So first I will paste in that function that we have. So that's like vanilla.js, no tie up to Vue, so we can directly copy it here session user, right? It returns a string or null. So what we can do in about route is we can also paste it, so we don't need to export it right now. Just command X and we'll paste it inside this about, right? And then we'll print the session user underscore session user, right? If there is a session user, of course. So we have to check. What I will do is I will come here. I will say if there is a session user, right? Then render this, else render p tag not logged in. Cool. So why this session user will be why underscore session user? What am I doing? Okay, now it is fine. So now if we go back, right, we go to about, it says not logged in, right? Yeah, this is our Alberto. Yeah, now I recall. Hey Alberto. All are our Albertos. But yeah, two Albertos. So Alberto Crispin, where are you from? Maybe you also live in the same country as Alberto. Not my Alberto. Yeah, the Spider-Man me, right? Alberto. Yeah, so not logged in, and then we can go back to our login page and log in, right? Now I come back, I refresh, and you see who is logged in. So now this song. They are mixing it like so I am not able to guess which song they are playing, but yeah. So this simple function will tell us whether the user is logged in or not. And yeah, so it will print the session user if they are logged in, otherwise it will print not logged in. So what I want to do is, we need more music in the streams. Yeah, I have to try. So KCT, right, like Kency Dots, he plays music when kind of, but they mix it with something else. So Shakur se apni to aise de. Let me ask Google. Now they have a feature for identifying song. No matches found. Let it be. Spotify playlist. Yeah, build with the and Spotify playlist. Now we have to find out that. Yeah. So this is that. So what I want to do right now is, if let me close Shazam, but so what I want to do, if they're not logged in, right, say they should not be able to come here. They should be redirected to Frappe's login page. So how can we do that? So that should be done when we do, so some hook will be required. So in Vue we have a hook called, okay, before every route. So let's go to 10 stack router documentation. Events. Okay. Before authenticated routes. Okay, let's read more about it. Authentication is extremely common requirement for web applications. Exactly. In this guide, we will walk through how to use time-stack writer to build protected routes and how to redirect users to log in if they try to access them. Absolutely. The route before load option. The route before load option allows you to specify a function that will be called before the route is loaded. It receives all the same arguments that route.loader function does. This is a great place to check if a user is redirected to the login page if they are not. Makes sense. The before load function runs in relative order to this route loading functions. So route matching, route loading, okay, and then parallelly preload and load. It's important to know that before load function for a route is called before any of its child route functions. It is essentially middle over the routes and its children. Okay, so we can do it in root route. So at the root we can check, okay, if they're not logged in, then it doesn't make sense. Go ahead. Don't let them come to this page. If you throw an error in before load, none of its children will attempt to load. That's fine. While not required, some authentication flows require redirecting. To do this, you will throw a redirect in before load. That's fine. So in a route, you can say create route before load. So let's copy this. Redirect takes all the same options as navigate function, so you can pass like replace true if you want to replace the current history. Once you have authenticated a user, it's a common practice to redirect them back to the page they were trying to access. To do this, you can utilize the redirect search param that we added in our original redirect. Since we'll be replacing the entire URL with it, is better suited than router.navigate. Non-redirected authentication. Choose not to redirect users to instant. Keep the user and show a login form that either replaces this. So we can do this. We can have that, like, okay, a pop-up opens, right, with a form, and they enter their email and password, same as Frappe, but that happens in the front end itself, not the actual Frappe. So they are not redirected to Frappe's login screen. So game plan has its own login screen. So if you go to game plan like instance, right, it has its own login screen, but insights doesn't. Insights takes you to the actual login screen of Frappe. So I think that is better because we don't have to implement a login screen and it stays common to all. So that we can try. Okay, let's do this. So let's start with this code, and I'm just experimenting. We will figure out. So about route, index route. So here we can say, right, before load is authenticated. So in this case, is authenticated will be if there is no session user. So we have to move that session user function out of here to somewhere here, and then redirect we have to import, I think. Redirect, yep, from timestack/react router. So it says /login is not assignable to /or/about. This is the magic I was talking about. So it knows which route exists. So it knows that we have / and we have /about, right? We have two routes. That's the magic that timestack router brings that I have not experienced in any other routers yet. Because it's strings, right? How does it does this magic? But yeah, so now we have to say we have to redirect to /login, but it is not this page. So what we can do is we can say window.location.href/login. So we are not using the this router, but what we can say is /login redirect So Frappe will take care of redirecting back after login. Redirect to, right? And let's go back and try this now. So I will log out from here and I'll go back to my front end. Okay, infinite loop. Got it. Why? Slash login is going to slash login. Okay. So how we have to replace in development okay, let's see how Insights does it. Probably in hooks.py it has a redirect first for login, I guess. No. Okay. Otherwise we'll build a nice UI if that makes sense, but I don't think that's required. So users shouldn't feel they come to a different website. They should be, okay, I'm in my Frappe instance only. That's my thought process right now. Front end, source, router, router.ts. So okay, it takes to login.view. Okay, and then what does this do? Pages slash login.view. Oh, it has its own login, but app shell.view. Sakib has arranged it nicely. So one workaround right now will be to basically remove port 8080, but then okay, proxy options. If I do login, then what happens? Ah, that worked very correctly. And then let's go to slash, and it takes you to the Frappe's login screen. Then you can log in here. Build with Hussein. Now you're at the home. So this is much better. So this was proxy options, but in there it will also work. Cool. So we don't need redirect. Nice, right? Now you can log in from your front end. So you go to Hazelnode and then just works. Cool. So what's the next step? And you can see we are logged in. So we can say we can rename about to something else. But anyways, we are going to replace all of this. This is just R&D we are doing, trying to figure out pieces, and then we'll bring it all together. Cool. So we were able to do what? Feet. Send to login screen if not authenticated. It was simple. It was not, we didn't complicate it. We reused some logic that I had already worked on previously. and yeah, cool. Let's commit, let's come back. And now the problem is, like, not the problem, so in the about page, right? So this is a good place to start. I want to get this user's avatar and full name, right? So how do I do that? So of course I can read the cache again and whatnot, but I will need some more information as well, right? So now I have to talk to the backend. Now I can't rely on cookies. I have to make an API call. So let's do this. So for API and everything, right, I'm going to use React query. So over the last 2-3 days I've been reading the documentation and it's pretty nice. So we'll start with the installation. Yarn add 10 stack React query. So this is you can call it server side or asynchronous state management library. Let's go to front end, add this. We'll also get the dev tools. So as you can see, they are only included in the development, so you don't need to worry about including them in your production build. That's fine. Cool. So let's start. So we have installation and we just need quick start. So let's go to app.tsx or let's go to main.tsx. In the above itself, this will go into their own pages and so on and so forth. We will refactor, don't worry. But I want a user profile shown here, right? So what we have to do is when we do have a user, right? When we do have a user, we want to get their user info. Make sense? So if it's already there, then it is fine. If not already loaded, so that's our goal. Want to get their user info if not already loaded. So since we now have the session user, we can just load. Okay, go ahead, load this user's data. So to do that, we will use 10 stack query. So we can import this stuff in our main.tsx, right? We'll query client. So this takes care of caching and everything, like lot of stuff that will be useful as we go further. But I will do this. I will add it query client provider. Right above the router. Okay. So now we can do this inside any of the routes. So we will come to about route. Say here we want to fetch and show the user's details. So this we'll do later, but let's try to fetch first. So this will be query client, and then you can say query itself. Ultimately we will extract out some functions that will let us do something similar to what resource manager does in Frappe. So you have to stick around for a few episodes before everything fits together. But yeah, instead of get to do is will be get user info, right? That we will define soon somewhere here. Async function get user info. That we'll see what it does. basically now we want, so it will be current user. So this is the key. So this query key is used to cache the results, right? It will cache and like make your applications snappier and so on and so forth. But yeah, we'll get to that. And now we can use this query, right? So this, instead of this, we can say, okay, data is loading is error. So whether this, whatever function or the promise we gave, right, whether it is the data, whether it is loading or is error, right? And there, so if I go back to query functions, handling and throwing errors, so usage with fetch, this is what we want. So I will say, I will copy it here, and instead of slash we have to go to slash API slash method. So there is a API in Frappe. So if we go back to frappeframework.com, get started, and if you search for REST API, we should find a method called get logged in user that returns the current logged in user as far as I know, but we want some more information. So it just returns this, right? We want more. So what can be done? So Frappe React SDK has a similar function, so let's check that. User. So they do something similar, right? So this all just calls this get logged in that we were calling, but we want more information regarding the user. So we can write our own API that returns whatever we want, right? User profile or something we can call it. That will be also a test of method. Hazelnode .api.get user info. So now I'll go to Hazelnode, create a new file called api.py, and here I will say import Frappe, frappe.white list def get user info. So get current user info, that is much better name. Okay, so current user, we know how to get this in Frappe. Frappe.session dot user right, and then we can say frappe.db.get value. We want some fields, so we will do as dect equal to true, if current user equal guest, right? If the guest tries to call it, anyway guest won't be able to call it because we are not doing allow guest, so we can assume there is a user logged in. So we'll say what do we want from our user doc type. Hazelnode 8000. So user list, let's set an image as well, so we have something to see in our front end. So by the way, forgot about it. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, you will know that we recently announced a competition. So Frappe builder contest. So yeah, if you want to participate in this, build a website using Frappe builder, and there is a contest going on. The awards and winners will be announced at Frappe Build 2024 in Pune. So nice opportunity if you have been wanting to revamp your website, especially partners and community members, right? You just give to full name, email, link to web pages that you have built using builder, some additional notes, and submit. Cool. Hope to see some of your entries there. But yeah, let's get back. This is Suraj's photo. Where is mine? Brand new profile pic. I think this works. Let's cut it from here. Upload. Cool. So we want full name. So this field is called full_name. Right? And we want profile image avatar. What is it called? There should be some image file. Car frm dot profile user_image. Okay. Right, so this will give us full name and user image of this user, and then we can return this. Cool. So now here we should get that response. Network response was not okay, so we can say error occurred, right, while fetching user occurred. Cool. So for my document, and now you can use this data is loading and is error, right? This is the state management I was talking about, this async stage management. And now you can say if is loading, we can return loading. If is error, error. And if it is not loading and there is no error, right, then we can go ahead and safely say there is some information available or the data available, and then we can render that data, right? We can render the data, whatever data came back, right? We'll render it. Okay, why is this not used? That's fine. So let's get back to front end. Objects are not valid as React child. Okay, it is an object. So let's do json.stringify. json.stringify. Right, and then we can render it inside. pre. Cool. So as you can see, now we have the full name and the user image, and it is big fetch from the backend. So if some of you face a CSRF token error, right, because in local that is phased, you might want to disable CSRF token authentication. I have disabled it in my common site config, so I don't have to disable it again again and again in every site. You might want to do the same, but in production, right, we have to include the CSRF token, so that will happen in index.html. So here we have to say like Doppio took care of it, right? So this is the part which will be replaced in production with the actual CSRF token, because this will be treated as Jinja. So let's, while we are here, let's change this to Hazelnode workflow automation. So if we check now, this will be Hazelnode workflow automation. Cool. So now let's render this, right? Let's render this. So I'll go back. I don't want this H1 here. I want, so let's go back to chat CNUI. I want the avatar component, right? Let's copy this. Command V. So till then we can use the usage of this avatar component. So it takes a source and some alt. Let's copy this. And now we can come here. Right. User avatar. Already this is prop, so this should receive. We can directly take this and render it there. Why have two components? Because we are playing around, just playing around right now, trying to get the pieces going, as I said, right? So now I can remove this pre. So data.message, right? So what we can do is we can say if there is no error and anything like that, const message whatever data that came back, right? Const message, let's take out message from data, right? And then we can say okay, we could have done much better than that. So what we can do is we can extract, right? If there is a message, we'll extract it. So this will be const response const data equal to this, right? And then if data dot message, we will return the message, else we'll return the data itself. Oh, we have to await. Cool. Now what will happen is inside this data itself we will get whatever we want. So we can say data dot user image and cn, right? The fallback, can it not figure out the fallback by itself? So we can remove this alt and say data dot full name cn is fine for now, but let's go back and we have our avatar here, right? Nice. So we have to make it bigger. So let's check what all we have in terms of sizing it. Okay, you can apply your own sizes. Cool. So let's say class, or we can apply it here. Class name h10w 40 pixels. What if I do h full? Nothing. Parapa. This is what I have applied. So there is this w full. I think that is causing this to. Oh, okay. That was the stuff. So we have to say w24 or something. Okay, now it broke the height itself. So we have to say height 24. Okay, much better. But yeah, you get the idea. So what did we do? We defined a function. So we fetched the user info from backend, right? And then if the response is not okay, this is not, we throw an error. So this is like, so this is error can be properly filled and whatnot by React query, right? So let's also display the full name. So what I will do is I will say this, move this on the top, and let's get a paragraph tag here that displays data dot full name, right? Cool. Okay, so for now it is fine. As you can see, it's not refetching it. It won't refetch it. I'll go to network, and if you see, right, it fetched it. Okay, get current user info is fetched. Shouldn't have. Okay, it's still fetching. It should keep it cached, right? Why is it fetching again and again? Because it is being demounted or what? Something like that. But yeah, let's read the docs again. So I'm also learning as I go. Query. This all I read, but I'm trying to locate one thing that said that, okay, if you are seeing your request made again and again, there might be some issue. Yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. So basically, I came back to router documentation and I was looking at how we can load data. So data loading is a common concern for and it is related to routing, right? So before we load the route, we want so if the data is loaded, then quickly the user will show up here, right? This user. So when loading, it's ideal if all of the pages async requirements are fetched and fulfilled as early as possible. In parallel, the router is the best place to coordinate these async dependencies as it's usually the only place in your app that knows where users are headed before content is rendered. You may be familiar with get server side propped, no? Probably. Loader from Remix React Router. Tanstack Router has similar functionality to preload load assets on per route basis in parallel, allowing React to render as quickly as possible as it fetches via suspense. Beyond this, normal expectations of router Tanstack goes above and beyond and provides built-in SWR caching, a long-term in-memory caching layer for route loaders. This means that you can use timestamp to both preload data for your routes so they load in or temporarily cache route data for previously visited routes to use again later. Yeah, this might solve our problem. So we might so there is also an example to combine this with React query. We'll look at that after this. The route loading lifecycle. Every time a URL history is detected, the route executes the following sequence. So it starts matching and then preloads. This we read, I think. So before load, on error, and then there is loader that runs in parallel to this, I guess. Preloading and loading, something like that. Serial and parallel. This all run parallelly. I think this runs serially. So this runs first, this runs second in serial, and then this all three run in parallel. Something like that of what I got, but let's continue reading here. There is a high possibility that Tanstack router clash will be good fit for most small to medium application, but it's important to understand the trade-offs versus more robust caching solution like Tanstack query. So we should have read it first before going on to building stuff. So RTFM, right? If you know, you know. So Tanstack router cache pros: built-in, easy to use, no extra dependencies, handles deduping, preloading, caching, stale by background refreshing on a per route basis. So it invalidates all the automatic garbage collection. Was great for apps that share little data between routes. So okay, let's use this. No persistence, no shared caching. So this are the cons, and this we want actually. No built-in mutation, so we'll need this as well, right? Loading is fine. When we want to manipulate the data, we will anyways need React query because we want to use the mutations API. Okay, so using router cache. The router cache is built in and is as easy as returning data from any route's loader function. Let's learn how. Route loader are called when a route match is loaded. They are called with a single parameter, which is an object containing many helpful properties. We'll go over this bit, but first let's look at an example of a route loader function. Okay, route, new route, create route, loader, fetch posts. Cool. The loader function receives a single object with the following properties: params, the route's path params, the route's search params, the route's context, parent ka context, and then its own context. Abort controller, the signal is cancelled when the route is no longer relevant. Okay, navigate, a function that is used to navigate to a new location. Location, the current location, the cause of the current match, enter or stay. Okay, using these parameters we can do a lot of cool things, but first let's take a look at how we can control if read with Hussain, right? Now this is, but yeah, this is part of building new stuff, learning new stuff. So okay, Tanstack dependency is stale while revalidate, provides a built-in stale while revalidate. So if you don't know what stale while revalidate is, stale while revalidating. So if it has old data, it will show it as if it is fresh data, and in the background it will fetch the new data from the backend, and then it will replace, so the user feels okay, haha, loaded instantly. App-like feel, this brings app-like feel to web apps. Stale while revalidate. SWR, caching layer for orders that keyed in dependency of the route. The route's fully parsed path name, so there's any additional dependencies. Using this dependency, the Tanstack route will cache the data returned from this version and use it to fulfill subsequent requests from the same route. This matches if the route's data is already, it will be written immediately. Potentially be refetched in the background depending. Okay. So much. Where are the examples? Okay, it's like too complicated. I'm looking for something very simple. So let's look at this example. That is like posts and home. So posts, you can select one of the posts. It's cached, right? It's not calling it again, but why in our case it is not cached? So let's dig deeper. So query client provider is above router provider. Do we have the same? TSX. Yeah, query client is above route provider. Right. Since we are using React Crody, we don't want loader calls to ever be stale. This will ensure that all when the router is preloaded or visited. Okay, so we have to pass the context as well. So this we missed, right? So we should have noted it down. Let's go to our router. Here we have to pass this. Cool. So this is the query client we initialized right here. Cool. So hopefully if we do this and try again, right, and see our network tab, oh, it's still making that request. Why? Let's dig even deeper. So there is some conceptual understanding that I'm missing, so I'm trying to figure that out. Because if you see here, right, it's just instantaneous and it doesn't make any request. So what else? Fetch post ID. Here is fetch posts and here is fetch post. Route with context. Okay. So we have to give it the query client as context. So they play along nicely. I think they are not playing along nicely as right now. Route with context, and we have to provide the context here. So we have to give it the query client. And then here you have to call this first. Okay, what did I route no cannot find this. Okay, did it work? So we have to clean up now. Format document. We even don't need, I think, location. why does this have any type? Because we do this root route with context, right? Let's read more about it. Command K, root route with context. The root route is a helper function that can be used to create a root route and requires context type fulfilled when route is created. Okay, so we did something wrong. I knew we did something wrong. So let's do it here. And this should be small r, of course, root route with context. And then route options. So this Copilot, let me do it. Right, we'll say this. And this goes away. So TypeScript saved us, right? Kind of. But yeah, that is cool. That is very cool. So let's check now. And if we get it working right, I'm very happy. But network tab. Still making request. Okay, should we just restart our yarn? Okay, I'm still missing something. Why is it refetching? That's my only question right now. Because if we check this JavaScript console, right, and network tab, if you see, it won't call slash posts. Again, it is not call. Oh, it called. Okay, probably what's happening is okay. So let's do one thing. Let's simulate the network using slow 3G, right? Go to home. I'm in slow 3G. Fast 3G. That's too much too. Let's do no throttling. And now I will enable slow 3G. Okay, it loaded some data, not the image itself. So I think the imaging is being loaded. All. Okay, the image is not getting cached. Oh, disable cache. Why? So these are the small things, right? Now if I come, okay, now you can see it is cached, but if I go to XHR, come back here. So if it was this thing, right, this disable cache thing, I'm very annoyed. Yeah, it is that thing only. It was disable cache. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, at least now we understood what's going on. and maybe we have fixed the wiring between so we probably didn't need to do this change, right? Let's revert and try. Let's revert this. Let's revert this and go back and try. Network tab. Or probably we do. Okay, what's happening? I'm trying to understand. Maybe when I go offline, I will get some idea. Oh, as you can see, it is doing it, but it's fetching it in the background. So this is not the actual query. Okay, how can I forget this? So it uses the cached data, but it fetches. Okay, so they have this. What do you say? If you read here, right? Background fetching indicators. We can see why when it is fetching and when it is refreshing. So let's see. So we'll say if it is fetching, we'll show some, okay, it is refreshing in the background or something like that, right? So we can come here wherever we have defined this, right? We can get is fetching. So we can say inside this, right, if is fetching, updating or refreshing data. Okay, let's go back. So for the user it will be instantaneous, but it will still fetch. As you can see right now it is loading in. Let's do no throttle. So it's refreshing data. Okay, what did I do? Nice. Keep making this silly mistakes, and we will do network slow 3G. I'm trying to clear my conceptual understanding. If it confuses you, sorry. But yeah, I hit refresh, right? It's loading. It came back. If I come back here, refreshing data, as you can see, it's not like it did mount it from cache, but it is refreshing in the backend. Okay, now it is clear in my mind, and now going forward it will be easier to imagine this stuff, right? Stale while revalidate, this is what it is doing. So it returned the stale data, but since the component remounted, right, it refetched. It also does this magic. So if you open up JavaScript console, right, you go to network tab. So old data, maybe the user went away from this tab, right? He went away, he's browsing someplace else. Okay, how does this look, and how does it, he comes back to this tab, and as you can see, it started refreshing the data. Right? So same defaults, you can disable it of course, but it has refresh data on refocus of tab. So yeah, even in slow 3G, feels fast, so it's refreshing the data. Refresh might take a while, so the user has something to see. So all of these concepts, I don't know how much they will help you understand it, but going forward we will be we'll have a better time figuring out stuff ourselves. Cool. So we'll keep it this, because probably going forward we'll need some context of query client. But yeah, let's go back. Let's do this. Let's commit feed user data fetching POC. This is just a POC. Okay, time to go. But before that, let's look at our notes. So now we can remove this. Yeah, some kind of basic state management. I think React query will take us a long way, and then we'll figure out if we need a dedicated state management library. Get auth working. So yeah, we got the auth working. Let's add a logout button and try. So if you want to log out from here, right? Let's add a button. Everything is in main right now, but we have to clean it up. Once we have the design ready, we'll figure out where to put which pages and how to lay out this. So instead of CN, this should be like full name, 0th character, and so on and so forth. We'll do it later. Anyways, we are doing POC, so that's fine. So we'll keep this here for debugging purposes for now. But what we will do is we will add a logout button. Somewhere here itself. Button logout can't see the button. Where are you, button? Maybe because we disabled cache. Why is it this slow? Exit page. Localhost, no. Hazelnode 8080. About logout. Okay, so on click of logout, we can do this. We can have a query. So when you see how Frappe logs you out, it calls an API. So if you want to check that, right, we can go to Hazelnode 8000 /app, and we have to check what is called on click of this button. So we can go to network tab, logout /API /method /logout is called, right? So we go back. We can again use our query. So what if I go directly to /API okay, I wanted to try this before as well. So if I directly go to /API /method /logout, right, then what will happen? Did it log me out? Yeah, it does log me out, but I don't want to do that. What I want to do is, let's come here, const logout query. Hi Zen, how can I change the format of number of an account's dashboard in here? I like to entire number and not the formatted rounder number. You have to dig deeper. I don't have context, so logout query is equal to use query. I think it's a use mutation or what. Okay, query key. logout query function async okay, we don't even need this JSON, right? If we were able to log out, we will say window dot location dot href should be slash login, right? And then we'll just do, or why do we even need use query here? Okay, we don't need this, we don't need this. We'll directly call this when this button is clicked. Okay, now it's better. Let's go back. Let's go to Hazelnode, click on logout. As soon as I'm logged out, right, I'm out from here. This button is disabled. Why? Hang. Freezed. Okay, logout successful. Login. You come here and then you can go to flash about, then again you can log out. So we have simple logout as well. Feed simple logout. But yeah, we'll keep it here. Horrible implementation. I'm not at all happy with how this code is structured, but at least we have something going on. Cool. I will have to look into it, Ramon. Why don't you post it in Discord? Help. Someone might be able to help you out there, since it is a ERP next question. So not kind of ERP next, but the dashboard, I don't know how it is like laying out those numbers, whether it has some room for customization or not. But yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you next week. So probably Monday we'll do one episode. So I'll schedule one episode for Monday because we have a lot of stuff to work on. But yeah, let's see. Do you want me to do the wireframes live, or should I do it behind the scene and then we start implementing stuff? What do you want? Live? Okay, we are doing everything live. We have brainstormed it live. We did, so let's do that live as well. Cool. I'll push the commits. I have already pushed the commits to GitHub. Yeah, bye. See you all.